Hey everyone, it's Troy Jackson with this week's Weekly Update. Just wanted to catch you back up. Last week we actually did the biennial budget, and I want to be clear for everyone that understands that the biennial budget unfortunately ended up being a majority vote. But the thing about it is it was a continuation of the budget that we enacted 2 years ago. All the money hasn't been spent or anything like that you might have heard. Actually, this was a bill that continued making sure that revenue sharing was fully funded, education was at 55%, universal school meals. I mean, the list goes on and on. That together, Republicans and Democrats, a little over a year ago, enacted a 2/3 measure. And so all we did was continue that budget going on.
This budget will allow us to work together and take the time necessary to try and reach a consensus on a Part 2 budget without the threat of a shutdown looming over us.
I urge the members of this body to join me in voting to pass a common-sense current services budget that honors the state of Maine's commitment to our communities.
Now is when the real work is going to start of making sure that any new programs gets enacted. And some of the things that we did actually work on this past week was things like LD2. That's a bill that's designed to help with the housing crisis. We started out this legislative session way back on December 7th by enacting the Joint Select Committee on Housing because we are in a housing crisis. No matter where you go in the state, you have people that are homeless. You have people that are having a hard time to find affordable housing. And you have people that are really getting squeezed by this housing crunch across this state. And so one of the bills that we put in early, Speaker Talbot Ross sponsored and I co-sponsored with her, was LD2, is addressing the emergency crisis we are in right now with people that are homeless, don't have housing. And this Housing First model is a proven success that we've seen in southern Maine. And what it does is it provides stable housing for people that are in critical need of it right then. And it also has wraparound services that they get those services that they desperately need at the same time that maybe contributed to the reason why they're homeless. And that's why the Housing First model that we've actually seen in a few places here in Maine has been selected as a way to go forward. And let me be real clear that the line for someone to be homeless is really, really fine. And some of these people you would never really even think could find themselves homeless, but we are in a situation now, and I think we are really across the country, where a lot of people are really struggling with and being able to find housing and being able to afford that housing. It's really a lot like our healthcare crisis in some regards. People definitely need it. But they can't afford to get it, and certainly in Maine there isn't enough. And so this committee that Senator Pearce and Senator Vitelli have been working on, have been doing a lot of great work. We're going to continue to work on long term these problems, and I'm really excited the work that they're doing and the bill that Speaker Talbot Ross had this week. So another pressing need across the state, and something I've talked about in these updates before, is the child care crisis. And this week was actually the Week of the Young Child, and we had providers from all across the state come here and talk about the issues that are really making it tough on them. I was glad to have Jordan Rosenthal and her friend Emily O'Neill here, drove all the way down. I mean, right there in Mercer County, that's 100 families that depend on her business staying open, her quality business staying open. And if she does close down, where do all those people that are out there working, where do all those people go with their children? And that's what we're hearing all around the state, that are people that are in crisis like that, and what it's going to mean for them, for their families, and for the economy if we don't do something significant. So there's a number of us that actually have bills designed around this. Myself, Senator Vitelli spoke. Representative Collmore spoke passionately about being in the industry and having to leave the industry because she couldn't afford to stay there anymore. But she's certainly passionate about this. And like I said, regardless, Republican or Democrat, I mean, this really should be a bipartisan effort to fix a major issue that's going on across the state.
Not next session, not some other time, but now, for the people across the state, for the business owners across the state.
And I think that, you know, in these last couple months, this is some of the priorities that, you know, we should be working on as an entire legislature. I mean, we got through the budget, we passed a continuing budget. You know, we have a little bit of resources going forward. I think things like childcare, I think things like housing, healthcare, emergency medical services, these are all things that the legislature could do this session to help people, in my mind, is as much of a tax cut as anything else that we could do for people, and it should be a priority for all of us. And so with that, Troy Jackson once again, this has been the weekly update. Look forward to talking to you next week. Take care and be well.